Here's a little funny story for you guys. When I was in first grade, we had to write down journals and we had to read them aloud. We got chosen every single day. It was random. I got chosen the day I wrote down basically the entire movie plot of Shaun of the Dead. And I read aloud beer, guts, zombies, blood aloud as a first grader to an entire first grade class. Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead is a huge impact in my life. Edgar Wright as a director is a huge impact in my life. So you know, going this movie, I was beyond hype. Last Night in Soho stars Thomas McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy, and is about an inspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer, but the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. So yeah, new Edgar Wright movie, I'm there day one. He's a huge inspiration to me. I love Edgar Wright. He has made great movies. Not bad, not good, great movies. His filmography, A+ material. My biggest praise is Edgar Wright. His direction is just mwah. It is perfection. It is Edgar Wright. I will say this, his quick, fast-paced editing that a lot of people love is not the star of this movie. It is in this movie. Of course it's in this movie. The camera angles are in this movie. Edgar Wright's style is in this movie. But I truly believe this movie is way more calm and way more intellectual of what it's going with the characters, the surroundings, and just what overall this theme is trying to tell us in the story. Now, it really does help when you have two of the biggest female stars right now, Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomas McKenzie. Thomas McKenzie, like, this is her movie. Straight up, she is the star of this movie, and she is amazing. I can't even tell you how good of a character she is. When this movie is starting, the first thing we see, introducing her character, from that point to the last thing that we see her in this movie, that is character development. This movie is hers, and she bites and eats every scene in this movie. She is so good. She is so, so good. And I think she's going to be so underrated this award season. She is, to me, she is amazing in this movie. And it just helps when you have Anya Taylor-Joy, who is just growing by each movie. And in this movie, she plays Sandie, the 1960s girl, who does deal with a really despicable Matt Smith, who is also very good. But Anya Taylor-Joy, she's a star. She is a star in the making. Every scene she's in, she kind of steals, and they're in scenes together. And it's just so good. The music in this movie is just, I mean, if you love Baby Driver music, get ready for just some classic old music, because this movie is filled with Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright has always loved music. He uses music just like Tarantino. It's part of this story, and this movie, it fits like a glove. It is great. The horror atmosphere that we experienced throughout the movie with this jolly music going together, it's some of my favorite stuff, and I really appreciated seeing these characters go from such a, like, the first 40 minutes of this movie, you could say it's almost a lovely little teenage comedy, people trying to grow up and learn who bullies are and people who are nice to them, and it's good. But then once the movie kicks in with going back in the past, from that point onward, I could not stop watching just the amazing camera work, the lighting, the costumes. I mean, everything just was so good to look at. But I do have a few little issues. I honestly, it was hard to pick issues. And if I had to say, my biggest one is the ending. Morally of the third act. A lot happens, and a lot feels kind of clunky, and maybe that's what I was saying about the pacing issues. A second viewing, because the movie is 2 hours long, and you can feel it at times. So at the very end, when things are moving fast and a lot of just big story points are happening, and there's a lot of big CGI special effect green screen, you're like, okay. So I think a second viewing is going to help me experience it, but for me personally, I love what the ending was. I love what the reveal is. I love the twists, the turns. I love all that stuff. There's just certain things that the ending could have felt more expanded on and felt more kind of like a a good storyboard, because this movie is such a good flow, and when it gets to the third act, it kind of changes up on you, which again, I love seeing what they were doing, but it felt a little bit off towards the entire movie. Overall, I'm not disappointed at all. I'm shocked, honestly. I'm wowed, because I went in this movie experiencing a horror. Like, the trailers got me excited. I saw one trailer, I have a poster in my room, so I was dead excited. And the movie shocked me with its themes, the character development, and what the story is telling about these two women and what happened in the past, what's happening in the future, how they more turn into the same person. It's so cool to watch, and I truly fell in love with that story, the surrounding, Edgar Wright, I mean, beautiful stuff. I think my only little nitpicks is really just the ending, and I think once I watch it again, I see more things and how things go toward the pacing and everything, I think I'm gonna like this movie a lot more, and I'm not trying to be biased at all, but this truly is one of the best movies of the year. Go and see it right away. I'm gonna give Last Night in Soho an A. Edgar Wright just does not miss. When he makes a movie, it's usually an A or an A+. And honestly, the more I see this movie, because I'm definitely going to see it again, it might grow into an A+. But right now, this movie is a really solid horror movie. Definitely original, fresh-looking Edgar Wright. I love you, my dude. Please keep making unique movies and keep being you, because I am there day one, no matter what. Anyway, guys, enjoy this review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.